Duck Boat Dispatch, episode number 40, big 4-0 for the Duck Boats this week. Sara's here, Josh is here, I'm here, Tom Christofuli, and the United States, 46 long years, but they're finally gold medal champions again in the United States in men's ice hockey. Big win on Sunday for the boys. Women's ice hockey got it done Thursday in the week.
I think so.
I think it was Thursday. Nasty little dangle by Megan Kelly for the game-winning goal. It was Keller? I'm not good with names.
I think it's Keller.
There's a reason I don't say your last name when I introduce us all, Sara.
Oh, I know.
But yeah, no, exciting time. Sox, less than 30 days away until opening day. They're playing their first couple spring games today. Celtics, big win last night over the Phoenix Suns with the shorthanded roster. No JB, no problem. They got business taken care of. And what felt like an
Shout out Ron Harper.
Yep. It felt like a very old school, 2000 basketball game when the game barely got to 97 points, Josh. It was a fun one to watch. I wish it started earlier, though. It's just way past my bedtime at some point in time. But Celtics are rolling. Jaylen Brown legitimately might win MVP. A lot going on in the week in the world of Boston sports. Elliot Wolf spoke earlier this week at the Combine. He spoke yesterday. Looks like Will Campbell is not going to be moving positions, which is kind of the big story coming out of the Combine. He said we're not moving him. Vrabel said they're not moving him. So unless they're just lying to us, maybe they don't believe there's an option out there. Maybe they really do want to give Campbell a second year at left tackle, see what happens. But right now, if we take them at face value at their word, Will Campbell is not moving, which is kind of the big story around the New England Patriots during their offseason. Before we get into all of that, Celtics, Sox, Patriots, maybe a little Bruins.
We lost Tom. Great.
Tom's gone.
Great start to the episode, guys.
He's back. I thought my AirPods died, and I was like,
Jesus, your mic is not connected. I can tell you that much.
And he yells at us.
I know. He gets so upset. He gets so
pissy.
He gets so upset when something on our end goes wrong.
I know.
When he goes wrong, it's like, oh, it's not my fault.
It's fine.
It's a small accident. It's fine. I know what I'm doing.
Yet if I'm staticky and you're echoey, it's the end of the world.
Yeah, he throws a hissy fit.
I don't know why my phone decided it wanted to connect mid-show, but we're back. Sara, set the tone for the show today.
Well, men's hockey, gold medal versus Canada. Women's hockey, gold medal versus Canada. Both games ended overtime 2-1. It was like it was written in the stars. And they just did, oh, well, the women just did it, so let's copy and paste it for the men. It was nice. I woke up at 7:30 that morning, woke Xander up, we got breakfast, got home, put the game on, and yeah, it was great. So, and I just want to say, I think it was 68% of the gold medals or medals won in the Olympics were won by women.
Sorry, I'm fixing my levels right now.
No, I don't really know how to respond. I want to focus on I know there's a lot going on, political conversations around the actual.
I don't want to get into that.
I don't really care about that at all.
I don't care about that either.
When it comes to the actual game, the game on Sunday. So first thing, I thought Mike Tirico did the broadcaster. I thought he did a spectacular job during the game, the game-winning call, and then his whole message after the game about hockey, Olympics and things like that was just perfect. He is really one of one right now when it comes to broadcasters, which is just he's phenomenal. But when it comes to the actual game, U.S. they really had no business winning that game. They had no business winning that hockey game.
They honestly shouldn't have. That third period did not look good. I think Canada was honestly the much better team in the third period, and they honestly should have scored. But goddamn.
I'm just happy we won.
How many saves in the third period? How many?
He had 40-something. I mean, when you have the best tendy in the world, you can compete.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of butthurt over that because Swayman was on there.
I know.
Swayman was in there. U.S. would have probably lost 15-2. Swayman was in between those pipes.
I can quote my mother on this. She literally said to me as we were watching the game, "Thank God Swayman isn't in there."
Yes.
It's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth.
I love Swayman. I'm a goalie girl.
But he is. He's not Connor.
Besides Marchand, my favorite players were always Tuukka Rask and Tim Thomas. Those were my top two favorite players. And then they retired. And then we got Ullmark. My sister loved Ullmark, so I started loving Ullmark. And then Swayman came, and then the goalie hug came, and then I loved both of them. But, like, I don't know. I think he would
goalie
have
hug,
done
cool.
good.
No, if Hellebeck, is that how you say his last name, Josh?
Mm-hmm.
You know about names.
Hellbucky.
Hellebuck.
I don't know.
I want to make sure I get this right. Whatever. That guy is a hero. He is an American hero.
I know.
Connor Hellebuck is Hellebuck?
I don't know.
Say it one more time for me, Josh.
Hellebuck.
So what I'm saying.
Yes.
Hellebuck. He was standing on his head, and when you have that, you can compete. They had no business winning. The shot was like 20, 15, 20 more shots for Canada, and Canada has probably the best. That first line on the Canadian men's hockey team is probably the greatest hockey line ever assembled. McDavid, Celebrini, and McKinnon. Probably the greatest hockey line ever assembled. And in overtime...
Wait, the Canadian hockey line?
Yes, like the front line.
Okay, I didn't hear you say Canadian, then I heard you say McKinnon, and I was like, wait.
No, the Canadian hockey line is probably the greatest line ever put together.
McDavid
is gross, but he sucks in big games, I guess.
Yeah,
will say I got nervous in overtime when I saw Marchand with the puck. I was like, God damn it.
I will say it sucks if you're Canada for losing that, but dude, I could not imagine if I was Connor McDavid right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
2 back-to-back Stanley Cup losses, and now you just lost in overtime by 1 goal to the Olympics. And like
I know Kachuk.
I know in the Olympics you're supposed to take like medals as they like kind of come and go. Like you should be like, even if it's silver or bronze, like in some, Olympic sports, you can still be happy if you won some of them, depending on the sport. But in a tournament style like this, for hockey, where it's tournament style, silver literally just means you lost in the finals.
It's like a slap in the face almost.
And so if I'm Connor McDavid right now, I am the most depressed man on earth. I do not blame him.
I will say, this is like horrible, and I have no right to say it because I'm not an Olympic athlete and I never will be. I feel like the only medal you want to win is gold. Like the bronze and the silver don't matter to me.
True, but I remember watching a ton of guys. I remember watching a ton of guys, throughout all the sports, and some of them were actually really happy to be up there for silver or bronze. I remember,
and that does mean that you're like the top 3 in the world.
Yeah, I remember I was watching I forget the dude's name. I think he's from Czechia or Netherlands. He might be from Netherlands. He won bronze in speed skating. He was probably the happiest person on the podium. Happier than the guy who won the gold. He was thrilled to have won bronze.
That's how the girl from figure skating, she was from Japan. She was 17, her first Olympics, and she got bronze. And her and Alyssa Liu, I think that's how you say her last name, amazing moment. Like Alyssa went over, she had just won gold, it was just confirmed, and she went over to congratulate the Japanese skater who got bronze, and they just had like, I made it. Like they had their I made it moment, I did it, and it was the most heartwarming thing I think I've ever seen. Also, shout out Alyssa Liu, you killed that. Do you guys know her story?
Yeah, the figure skater with the cool hair, right?
Yeah, but do you know her story?
No.
So basically, she retired from skating. She was like a prodigy, basically. Like she was supposed to be the best skater in the world, and she fell out of love with it. So she quit. She quit skating. And then, I want to say like a few years ago, I don't know all the facts of this story, but I know like the summary of it. But then a couple years ago, probably like 2 years ago, took up skiing, and she was like, I love this, I want to do this every weekend. And then she was like, well, I can't ski every weekend, it's expensive. So she was like, what can I do that's similar? So she was like, I'm gonna go back to skating. So she went back to skating, made the Olympic team, and then won the gold medal. And you can tell, like, if you put her against like Amber Glenn, the other woman solo figure skater, you can just tell how different they are. Like, they're both amazingly talented in their sport, but Alyssa just is effortless. Like she's truly out there just having fun. She doesn't care about the medal. There's no pressure on her. She's just doing what she loves to do. And it's the same for Amber, but Amber feels the pressure and the like, I can't think of the word. She feels the pressure and she feels like how important it is out there. So you can like see that like she kind of gets in her head a little bit where Alyssa's like, if I fall, I don't care. Like I'm in the Olympics. This is pretty cool.
And speaking of celebrations, that picture of Jack Hughes with the American flag draped over his shoulder and he's like bleeding from the mouth because he got hit in the face with a twig.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great game. They had no business winning, but they found a way to win in overtime where I think if you would ask any hockey fan, any hockey analyst, any hockey player, if the game goes to overtime where it becomes 3v3 instead of 5-on-5, who has the advantage? I think literally anybody that watched hockey would have said the Canadians had the advantage because they had that top line of McDavid, McKenna, and Celebrini. Like that line, I can't stress how gross that line is. But USA finds a way to win in over. Like that was, I never thought they had a chance in overtime.
I don't think it's they found a way to win. I think they won the game. They played better.
I actually would agree that I would say that they did not over in the 3 periods plus overtime. I think like obviously America won. I think Canada probably played a better game, but they just had the disadvantage of having to go against the greatest goaltender in the world.
Yeah. If you're talking about like who had the better game, obviously, I think overall, if you're talking about the 3 periods, Canada easily had the best game.
They dominated that second period.
But Connor had the best game out of anyone. Yeah. And Connor is the reason they won that game. Easily.
I mean, that save with the paddle where he's like sticking it all the way up from the other end of the other post of the goal. I mean, hang that in the Louvre. Like that was gorgeous. There's like there's a bird's eye view, but it was gorgeous. And if you're Canada, like not only do you guys were saying like you get silver, that stinks. Like you lost to America. Like Canada is supposed to run hockey,
but also you lost to America in the women's game and the men's game.
Can I just
the women's besides? I mean, it was overtime, but the women's team were rolling people in the Olympics.
Oh my god, no! They're honestly, I think you can quote me on this. I think if you put the women's hockey team against the men's hockey team, the women will win.
I don't know, but I mean, it depends what rules you're playing with.
Regular hockey.
Well, I think they have different Olympic rules.
I don't know. I don't think so. Why would they?
I don't know if they do or not. I don't know if things are different. Because I know in like high school women's hockey, I know in like high school women's hockey where I am, like you couldn't hit or forecheck, but in men's hockey you could.
I'm sorry, but that is such bullshit to me. What, just because I'm a woman, I can't hit someone in a sport where men are allowed to?
I completely agree with you. I'm just telling you, like those were the rules in my area. I don't know if I don't know what the Olympic rules are.
The collegiate rules are the same.
Okay, because I'm freaking what's her face just laying bodies out there.
Well, no. I didn't mean the collegiate rules are the same as each other. I meant the collegiate rules
same as like in high school.
High school is where the men are allowed to bash each other however much they want.
Why? Like why?
The women can have they can have contact, but it's very minimal. You know, it can't.
As long as you can pin someone against the boards.
Yeah, you can pin someone against the boards, but you can't full on body slam check them. You can't cross check them. Obviously, you can't cross check in general, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's stupid to me. I'm sorry.
It was a great game. Shout out Matt Boldy, a Mass native, a Masshole, getting the first goal in the game for the Americans. It was great. I don't know if they played this game 10 times, how many times they win, but the one time they had to win, they won the game. So America runs hockey now, Canada.
To quote Herb Brooks from Miracle, you could play this team 10 times and 9 of the times they could win, but this one time we're going to win.
Tom, you're getting on my pet peeves right now. Can you say Canada for me?
Canada?
One more time?
Canada?
Okay, never mind.
What was he doing?
No, side story. And she's going to kill me when she sees this. My mother, if you ever hear my mother say the word Canada, she says, and she denies it every single time, she says Canada. And she denies it. And it ticks me off.
Canada?
It ticks me off, and I call her out every single time for it. And she denies it. She's
yeah,
going to kill me when she sees this.
Either way, Canada, whatever you want to call it, they're crying now because they're no longer run hockey. America runs hockey. They've taken over the sport. Gold in both men's and women's Olympic ice hockey.
Can I just mention one last thing? No disrespect to my own country, but America, I feel like, is so in your face when they
about winning a sport
that isn't their native sport.
Awesome.
winning in hockey, they slam Canada. When they when they were in like the FIFA World Cup a couple years ago, slamming all the Europeans when they went far.
If the
And
United States men's soccer team would have win the World Cup, that would be like the next miracle on ice.
guess where the World Cup is this year?
They're
It's
not
in
going
the
to win.
U.S.
They're not
No
gonna
way
win.
in hell.
I mean,
There is legitimately
out.
no shot they win that.
Shout out! I'm going to one of those games. I'm going to Haiti.
Are you actually?
Yeah, I'm going to Haiti versus
Oh,
Scotland.
cool.
I'm going to drink with a bunch of Scottish people.
Oh my
Like,
God, you're gonna have so much fun there.
There's no shot. Like if
No,
America would win the World Cup, that would literally
That will
be
never
on
happen.
par with the miracle on ice, like beating the Soviets with a bunch of college kids.
That honestly might even overtake it. Honestly, like I'm not kidding. If America were to beat
No,
every single other country's sport, like
I think there would be riots. Like I think the world would fall apart.
Like Europe would fall apart. It would fall apart.
It would not be okay.
Like imagine USA beats like England in the World Cup finals on the 4th of July. Like the world would end. Like the world would literally America would take over when it comes to the sports world. But shout out those.
I think America needs to figure out its own problems first.
when US was in the World Cup a couple years ago, the chants in the stands were even "It's called soccer." They are literally shoving it in your face that America is beating you at.
Like there's a difference between being in it
such
and
assholes.
obviously winning. Like the women's soccer team is disgusting.
Oh yeah.
They had that run with Rapinoe, Alex Morgan, and the Carly something. The goaltender's name is escaping me. Carly something.
Oh, I can see her face.
But they had that run where they beat Japan, I want to say, in the finals one year within like the first 2 minutes of the game. But like America winning the World Cup would be up there with the miracle on ice. It would be that insane because they are just that far behind the rest of the world. But maybe one day we'll see it in our lifetime. It took 46 years for the men's ice hockey team to repeat the feat, beating the Soviets to get to the gold medal game, and then obviously closing things out against Finland. It really seems like let's see how if this carries forward, if this is another 46 years in the making before the next one. I don't know. I think American hockey is taking a step up, especially if NHL players are allowed to play in the games. I think it won't be that long.
Don't love that. I kind of wish that they let anyone try out.
I mean, anyone can try out, but NHL players aren't barred from playing is the thing.
No, I know, but I wish we had another miracle team.
It would be cool to have a bunch of college kids go and win, but it's just the quality of the games were so good this year. Like the Olympics should never change that.
Yeah, they were good, but it's basically saying oh, you have to get into the NHL to get onto the Olympic team.
I mean, yeah, but if you're going to be on a college, if you're going to be playing for USA hockey as a college kid, you're probably going to the league. What's the difference? You got to wait till you're in the league.
You have to think about it this way too. The Olympics is literally the best players in the entire world for said country.
Yeah.
And if you play in the NHL, that's essentially the NHL is the top hockey league in the entire world. So therefore, if you play in the NHL, you essentially are considered to be one of the best in the world. I don't think it matters what league you're in. I think it just matters if you're great or not. And I think the NHL takes up a majority of the greatest players in the entire world.
But you have to think about that 1%, that percent of people that are good at hockey, love hockey, but can't afford to be in the NHL. And by can't afford, I mean don't have the time because they have, say, they have a ton of home priorities and other things that they need to be responsible for, and they can't spend all this time traveling and doing stuff for hockey. There has to be someone out there that's just as talented as any NHL player, but unfortunately does not have the time to play.
I mean, you could say that across any league then. I feel like that you can easily go out to any other, basketball.
Which I think any sport should be open to everyone to try out.
It is.
Yeah,
but for and not have, I don't know. I feel like if you're in the NBA, if you're in the NHL, you're going. It's just you get a degree in college, you're automatically have a better chance of getting the job than I do, if that makes sense. I don't have a college degree, but you two have a college degree. So if we were all going to the same job, they would overlook me because I don't have that piece of paper, whereas you two have the piece of paper, if that makes sense.
I have nothing.
You don't understand what I'm saying?
No, I got nothing.
Okay, whatever.
I got nothing. Somebody out there might have something, and I just can't put the pieces together in my brain right now. But speaking of chances to play, someone might be coming back on a Sunday.
Oh, God.
My glorious king, So that's the way we're gonna start. Like, do you buy into the rumors that Tatum could be back on this Sunday, March 1st? Like, do you believe those rumors are true?
No, I think it's stupid if he comes back.
So you don't want him to come back at all this season?
No.
Why?
All right.
Because he's the quote-unquote best player on the Celtics, who's coming off of an Achilles tear, who rehabbed in record time and is healthy to play again.
But what if his doctor comes up to you and says he is 100% healthy, risk-free, he's good to go, brand new? You decide to put him out there or not. What decision are you making? If the doctor comes up and tells you he's 100% ready to go,
I'm putting him on the bench.
So putting him on the bench like he's not playing, or he's gonna come off the bench until he's ready, until he works his way back into game
limited
shape.
time.
He's limited practice. Like, he can maybe practice once a week, and that's it.
All right, so no matter what, Tatum doesn't come back till next fall.
No matter what, Tatum should not come back till next fall.
All right,
I think if you're like saying this is your franchise guy, this is your guy that's gonna be with the Celtics till he dies, or in his case retires.
It's like
why risk it?
But
why risk it?
I agree with you, Sarah. I agree with you on the part of why risk it. Of if Tatum is not 100% back, I don't think you should put him in there. If the doctor comes up and tells me he's 90% healthy, I don't want to take that 10% risk. Leave him to stay. If I had to sacrifice the rest of the year because he's not 100%, leave him. However, it changes if he is 100%. If he's 100%, the doctor says he's good to go, that Achilles is not tearing anytime soon, I'm throwing him out there. I'm throwing him out there if he is 100%. But if he's not 100, I won't take the risk.
I also feel like there are people that will take cheap shots at him if he comes back too soon. And, like, look at what happened in the NFL. Like, people get hurt. It happens. Especially if you're coming off an injury and people know this was a very public injury. Very talked about injury. All I have to do is step on his foot or ankle the wrong way. That thing is snapped.
You could do that with anyone's injury. Again, you have to think about
exactly. But I'm saying if they know like he's recently recovered, it's easier.
I don't think any player in their mind is going to be like, yeah, let me intentionally snap this
guy. You don't know that.
Well, like, let me just land
Harding. You guys don't even know who that is, probably.
No, the figure skater. I believe there was more going on there than just...
there definitely was.
But still, I want to say the mob was involved, but I'm not 100% confident on that one, if I'm thinking of the right story.
No, they were not.
Okay, so I'm thinking of a different story.
Yeah, you definitely are. It's two figure skaters. They were
I believe there was more going on than just that.
I honestly think it had something to do with a guy as well. She took a bat to her competitor's knee.
Yeah, I knew that. There's a great movie about it with Margot Robbie. I just haven't gotten the time to sit down and watch it.
That's not even like I haven't even seen that. But
but no, I understand what you're saying. Like at some point in time, like you have to protect Tatum from himself in a sense. If he's like itching to come back, like I really do believe he is itching to come back and play. Like he's at every single game on the bench watching it. He seems to be telling everybody there's no mic, but
wants to come back.
Read his lips. He's like, I'm right there. Like I'll be back soon.
It's just like being on a diet. You walk into, say you go to Dunkin', you're on a diet. You can't have sugar and you can't have, I don't know, like you're watching your weight. You're cutting calories and you see the wall of donuts and you think to yourself, oh, I'll just have one. It's the same thing.
I feel like the first problem is if you're on a diet, why are you walking?
Yeah, what are you doing in Dunkin'? I was thinking the same thing. Like, if you're on a diet, what the hell are you doing in Dunkin'?
Why are you walking?
Isn't there sugar in coffee?
People throw in whatever they want. I mean, if you're having
if you get an iced coffee with cream, there's no sugar in it.
If you have like a straight black coffee, I guess you're just essentially drinking caffeine.
Or you're 65.
You can put some. Hey, Xander drinks black coffee. Thank you.
Yeah, but he's a blue collar worker who, in his heart, is 65 already.
Yeah, that's so true. 65. That is so true.
Look at majority of people like our age or younger. They'll have like the Dunkin' or the Starbucks with like the extra shots of caramel, chocolate syrup,
spinning them around like this too.
With cream, the scoop of ice cream that's in there.
I will say I hate when my coffee's like that. I get an iced coffee with cream and 1 sugar. Because I just want that little bit of sweetness.
So you were telling me there's no sugar in coffee, but you put a sugar in your coffee. I was gonna make that very clear.
Compared to what other people do to their coffee, I don't think one sugar is that bad.
All right, but there is sugar in your coffee.
Like one little sugar packet.
There is sugar.
Yes,
but there is. There is. That is what I put.
Yes.
There is sugar in that
but
coffee.
I don't put Splenda. I don't put any of the fake chemical shit. I don't do any of that.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with caffeinated chemical beverages.
Yeah,
no. Nothing wrong with that.
No, it's disgusting.
Back to Tatum. So, Sarah, you don't want him back at all?
No. Well, it's not that I don't want him back.
You don't think he should come back?
I don't think he should come back yet.
Fair. You're worried about a re-injury. The team's rolling the way they are right now. Why bring him back?
Exactly.
I get that.
Plus, I like AJ Brown. Wait, no.
Jaylen Brown.
What's his name? Jaylen Brown, yeah. Sorry, I saw a post about AJ Brown earlier, and it was stuck in my head.
They got the same last name.
I got the last name right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you don't want him to come back, but how do you feel like the March 1st rumors that they flexed the game to prime time? Tatum's first, his documentary is coming out that day or whatnot. Do you think that rumor has legs behind it?
I think it's all publicity for the new documentary.
Right. So you don't think there's anything behind that?
I think it's a chess game.
All right,
that's all it is.
I mean, it's a rumor. Again, it's not 100% because it is a rumor. It could very well just be. I made this argument last week with Tom how the game could simply just be, it's a competitive game. Let's flex it to prime time. Let's do that. It very well could be that, or which I'm kind of leaning towards that because I don't really know if Joe Mazzulla is the guy to be like, hey NBA, flex our game, wink wink.
I don't think he is either.
I think that'd be more like a Brad, and I don't think it's a Brad Stevens thing either.
I just don't see Joe Mazzulla as the type of guy to go. Joe Mazzulla is like an anti-media guy, so I don't see him going up to a media and television officials and be like, "Hey guys, just saying, we should flex our March 1st game." Why? I don't know. Wink, wink. I don't.
Especially when they asked him in media, and he was just kind of deadpan to the camera, like, "Hey, Tatum was at practice today." He's like, "Yeah, he was there." Did he practice?
Exactly. The media, Joe Mazzulla will feed the media nothing when it comes to stuff like this. So for me, if I'm putting my money on it, yes or no, Tatum comes back March 1st, no.
Okay, so we're out on the March 1st date. I still believe. How do we feel about the March 14th rumor? Because the Tatum first episode of the docu miniseries that he's doing that he released on YouTube.
What's the March 14th
So
rumor?
the March 14th rumor is because the YouTube video was 3 minutes and 14 seconds. He's teasing that when it comes back.
They're treating it like a freaking Taylor Swift video.
People are reading into everything.
I was just going to make that comparison. Oh my God.
So I guess we know how Sarah feels about this.
I'm honestly
more interested if it was Taylor Swift.
I might side with Sara on this. Not that I'm siding with Taylor Swift, but again, Tatum has really denied any question or statement.
He hasn't put a date on it. He hasn't put a date.
Exactly. He hasn't put a date on it or really given anyone any sort of hint to when he's going to come back, if he's going to come back to begin with. So I don't think he's going to be so petty and dramatic that he's going to be like, guys, watch 3:14. Ooh, come on.
I think what they're doing is, one, they are dropping Easter eggs. It's going to lead to something. Something might happen on March 14th just because the Taylor Swift thing was so big and so popular that other people are starting to do it now. They're like, oh, this is cool. So that's one thing. Secondly, I don't think he's coming back March 1st. I think it's a whole publicity stunt to get more money. They're going to skyrocket the tickets. It's now a primetime game. It's two good teams. And his documentary is coming out that night.
Until I hear it from Joe Mazzulla himself Tatum is coming back, I'm not buying anything.
Yeah. So also what they're going to do is, because this is everyone's like, oh, he's coming back. So like I said, tickets were skyrocketing. He's not going to show up that game. Maybe he'll say something. Maybe he'll do something. But nothing. I don't think he's going to play. Again, it's too soon for me.
All right, fair. All right.
Following that, tickets are going to go up more and more and more. So they're making more and more money. They're going to keep hinting that he's coming back. Oh, maybe next week. Maybe he'll come back March 14th. Who knows?
And my answer to that is you also have to look at the team. The team is a championship contending team.
Yeah.
Again, I think they traded for Nikola Vucevic Because they were a contending team. I think they flexed this March 1st game because they were a contending team. I think that all of this stuff, all this narrative stuff that the Celtics are doing are simply because they are a good team. They're a championship level team. If
They want money.
I don't even know if it's the money aspect. They're just a contending team that are shutting the haters down. Jaylen Brown posted the other week that of comparing the this year's stats versus last year's stats, and people immediately took that to narrative and say that he's throwing shots at Jason Tatum, that he doesn't need them. Maybe it's because Jaylen Brown's a top 3 MVP candidate right now, and he wants to prove all the haters wrong, because ever since he's been drafted, people have been hating him for not having a left hand, being a number 2 option. He's been getting so much shade and hate. So maybe it's the fact that he's just good that he's doing this. Celtics are doing the exact same thing.
I also think just maybe it could be, hi Mac. Maybe it could be like you know how they moved the Patriots-Ravens game from like a 1:00 game to a 7:30 or 6:00 game?
Yeah, they flex those for like the bigger games.
I think it's just something like that. That's
because
all
the
it
team's
is.
good. Because
the team's having a better season than expected. That's all it is.
They are, and it's a lot because of Joe Mazzulla, Jaylen Brown, and the roster that Brad Stevens has put around them. I'm glad you bring up the Jaylen Brown tweet and the Instagram post where he was comparing last year's stats to this year's stats, and he had said something along the lines, not quoting it verbatim, but paraphrasing.
Didn't we debate this?
Like super proud of the team so far this year. He said before in interviews that this is like his favorite season he's ever had, despite winning a championship in 2024. So I'm curious, do you guys, and I want to make this very clear, I think there's no friction. I don't think there's any reason that you should break up the Jays, but do you buy into the narrative that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum might not get along as well? They're not long for this team together, and at some point in time, the Jays are going to break up. Because that was the big narrative, like you said, Josh. When Jaylen Brown posted that, everyone was like, this is a dig at Tatum, where he's like, ooh, look at me, I don't need Tatum. I can be the number 1 guy on a leading team that's second in the Eastern Conference, and I'm garnishing an MVP conversation. So do you think he's got an issue with Tatum or something along those lines, or they're not going to work out?
No. Do you want to go first, Sarah?
I don't care.
Okay. Well, I think no, because of a couple reasons. One, they've been doing it since how many years? Since 2018, so about 6 years 8 years, sorry. They've been together for 8 years. And also, if Jaylen Brown, I think Jaylen Brown has always had this faith that he could be a number 1 option, could be an all-star. If that's the case, if he has always thought this, why the hell did he sign the extension?
Because he'd only get the supermax from the Celtics. I don't agree. I agree with you, but I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah, and that's a very valid point to make. That I think that's the only argument you could make. If he wanted to, if the whole point of this is to lead his own team and be the guy and be an MVP candidate, he could have just walked out the door. He could have requested a trade by now. Why hasn't he done that yet? If you are so focused that he does not get along with Jason Tatum, he has every right to go up to Brad Stevens or Joe Mazzulla and be like, I want out. He could have done that from the get-go.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, Josh.
He has every right. And like the thing is they're 2 grown men. You don't think 2 grown men in their late 20s can have a civil sit-down conversation? If this is really an issue about sharing the ball, you don't think 2 grown men who have been working together for 8 years can have a sit-down conversation and kind of discuss their game plan, maybe have their coach right next to them? You don't think they can discuss the game plan of what role they want to have now? Maybe they are a 1A and 1A guy. Maybe they are able to share the rock 50-50. Or maybe one of them does kind of have to accept the role of potentially being a 1B or a number 2 option once again. But do you really not think 2 grown-ass men can sit down and have a conversation? You really think they're going to like hide in each other's shadow and just kind of play pity with each other, where they're like, oh, I'm better than you. No, you're not. I'm better than you, and not say anything to each other? That to me is ridiculous.
I think that they are friends, and I think they've been good friends for a while, and it's just the world that's pitting them against each other. Like, they're just making up scenarios to pit them against each other, make them hate each other, create a rivalry within the team to break them apart.
Anything that will drive the headlines.
Exactly. They just want a story.
Yeah, and
That's all it is.
And I get where people say, like, ooh, it's tough to have 2 alphas coexist. The people point to Kobe and Shaq.
Possible.
Like Stephen, like KD flamed out at the Warriors at a point in time. Like LeBron, everywhere he's gone, is flamed out at a point in time. But if you just look at the body of work that we've seen from Tatum and Brown in their NBA careers, They've been here 8 years together. Have they ever had any sort of legitimate, fully cited, fully sourced, fully confirmed issues on the court, off the court at all? Every sort of example people are using to say, ooh, Tatum and Brown might not want to play. Like, there might be issues when Tatum and Brown, Tatum comes back and the both of them are back, and now Brown has elevated to the status of being, the guy, 1A alpha. When Tatum comes back, does he go back into that 1B, that number 2 role, and Tatum reclaims his spot as the number 1 guy? Or does Tatum have to take the step back now, like Jaylen Brown has his entire career? But we've never seen any sort of issue between these guys on the court, off the court, in their 8-year career. They've been to 2 NBA finals. They're NBA champions. Jason Hill was like the first guy to hug Jaylen Brown when he won the MVP in the finals. I don't think that they don't have to be best friends, having dinner every Tuesday night together, having a sleepover. Like, I don't need them to be best friends. I need them to be able to get on the court and be NBA champions. And they've proven in their entire career, there's never been a time they have proven that they can't coexist together on the floor. If we start to see the cracks when Tatum's back on the floor, then I'll be more nervous. We saw those cracks form. I think the most recent scenario that you can think of was when KD joined the Warriors. And that last year he was with the Warriors, you saw the cracks form between him and some of the guys of the team, like Draymond Green, where there's a very vivid situation. There's a very real situation on the floor where KD wanted the ball at the end of the game and he didn't get the ball and he was upset. We haven't seen that from Tatum and Brown yet. They are okay with the other guy taking the shot or them taking the shot. I just don't see why this has become... I see why, but I just full-heartedly could not disagree more that they're not going to be able to coexist together.
Yeah.
Now, what is more real on why they might break up is, I will say, I think if they ever do break up, it's because of the contract situation. If you look at the way the cap is going, Jaylen Brown's next contract might be a $400 million contract.
How long? How many? Do you know what year that contract is?
28-29 is his last year, I'm pretty sure, and then he's an unrestricted free agent then.
I don't know. I might, considering how it's been handled so far, I might trust Brad Stevens to handle that. And another, I know this is a whole different rabbit hole I might fall into. But a trend I think we're starting to notice to see, especially at the trade deadline, is a lot of expensive guys removed. A lot of expensive guys are traded, JJJ, Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
Expensive guy, big contract. I think what you might notice to start to see, especially with the second apron, is that it's going to force guys to take pay cuts. I think you're going to start noticing that as a trend as some of these other players' contracts move on, because again, if someone is taking up so much contract space, that limits the rest of your roster move. And as a good GM, I don't think a GM would want one singular guy, no matter how good he is, to take up all of that cap space. I think at some point GMs are going to start getting fed up with the NBA players demanding so much money in these unnecessary super contracts, in my opinion, and they're going to have to start telling their players, look, I can give you this much, and that's it. So I think, you say that you see the contracts being an issue in the future. In the future, yeah, it could be an issue, but I do trust Brad Stevens in handling that so that if Tatum and Brown's contracts do collide, cause an issue, I do trust Brad Stevens with how it has been handled in the past 2 years of contracts and how well he's been as a GM. I do trust him to handle that when the time comes.
Yeah, and it's just tough because in 28-29, when Brown ends his contract,
we are losing Tom again.
Son of a bitch.
I'm buying boots.
Where did I go?
You good, Tom?
Am I back? There we go.
Hello? Hi.
It's the snowstorm.
Okay.
That's what I'm blaming it on.
Restart.
The issue is going to be is that at the end of Brown's contract, his cap is going to be $64 million. So then you extend him. And then the very next year, you're going to have Jason Tatum making $65 million or something along those lines. Then you have to extend them. And I don't think, it just makes no sense for them to break up the Jays. They're the best duo in the league, hands down. And I have full faith in Brad Stevens. If they do pay the Jays to the 2 Supermax contracts back-to-back years, he can build a roster around them. He is legitimately a top 3 GM of all time in Boston sports. The only guy I think you can put ahead of him right now is Theo Epstein from the Boston Red Sox in the early 2000s. Is the only guy I would put above Brad Stevens right now. I think he's better than Bill Belichick as a GM. He's better than Red Auerbach was as a GM. He's better than, like, literally you name it, he's been better than that person as a GM.
Yeah.
So I have faith in him to do that.
And I agree with what you said about not breaking up the Jays. I think I wholly believe that Brad Stevens is very well aware that he has, two astounding players, two MVP caliber players. So I think even if it were to come down to contracts and, moving other guys on the roster, you saw it last year with moving a ton of guys around the roster, Holiday, Porzingis, Horford, Cornette, I could go on, Simons even. I think if it does come down to the contracts and the roster, Brad Stevens understands what he has with these two. He will do everything in his power to keep these two together.
Yeah, that is the goal. You keep them together. You get a point guard. You keep Derek White and Peyton Pritchard as long as you can. You have your core. You have your core, which can go win, hopefully, multiple championships. Now, if Tatum comes back, maybe this is a conversation for a different day because I do want to get some Sox talk in before we move on to the big debate. Like, maybe they can legitimately compete for a championship when Tatum comes back, which I thought was going to be insane to say 6 months ago. I had them as like a 5-seed borderline play-in. Maybe they're looking at tanking if Jaylen Brown gets injured. And he has shocked me. Like, yes, he still turns the ball over at an incredibly high rate for his usage rate. He leads the league in turnovers for like his usage rate. It's insane, and his assist rate isn't high enough. But like, he's playing at an MVP caliber level. He's the best two-way player in the league. He doesn't miss games. Like, he legitimately is an MVP candidate, and because of the 65-game threshold you have to hit, he could really win the MVP because of that. And I think people would kind of call it a fraud MVP, and that would also mean he can make more money on his next contract, which might hurt the Celtics in the long term. But Jaylen Brown has shown up, show out, and he has wholeheartedly shocked me as the type of player he was.
Yeah. I think with or without Tatum, an Eastern Conference Finals is guaranteed for the Celtics. That's my.
Yes, I think
that
should be the minute. That should be the. And again, we talked about this a lot in a football season with the way the Patriots are moving. The expectations are fluid. The goalpost can move. The goalpost has moved for this team. You have an MVP caliber player. You have one of the best coaches in the NBA right now. Again, Joe Mazzulla proving me wrong. We'll get to that later in the show. So I think
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that to get brought up.
I think all things are pointing up for the Boston Celtics, and if Tatum comes back, even if he's 14 minutes off the bench and to start off before the playoffs to get the rust off of him, just to get out there and get the touches back and get back into game state, I think that is going to do wonders for this Boston Celtics team coming into the playoffs, but only time will tell. And speaking of time is almost here for the Boston Red Sox. 28 days till opening day, I want to say. 28, 29 days till opening day.
I'm not good with date numbers off the top of my head. Oh, God. You're asking the wrong guy.
The good thing for you is there's a calendar going. There's a clock going at work. I'm pretty sure it's 29 days left until opening day.
Good.
What is your biggest concern with this Red Sox team going into the season? Because I know mine.
Mine is the hitting.
Okay, you don't. Okay, offense is a very valid one.
Who's going to be your power back? Who's going to be your power hitter for this team? That's my concern.
This just shows you right here that I only know stuff about football.
You're trying. Hey, you put in good effort at the start of that Tatum Brown conversation. I was very proud of you, Sara.
I kind of didn't really care. I'm making plans for tonight.
It's all right. Care or not, I was proud of you for the first 15 minutes of that Tatum Brown.
Can we know what plans at least before we continue?
Yeah, I'm meeting up with a friend of mine for drinks.
Nice.
Would either of you like to come?
I have a basketball game tonight and work tomorrow, so I cannot.
Okay. Well, I was just trying to be nice.
Oh, I appreciate the invite.
You're welcome.
But I agree with you, Josh. I think power is going to be an issue in this lineup. Like, who's hitting the home runs? Like, where do your home runs come from on this team? And I think a lot of that weight falls upon Roman Anthony. Like, can he carry the workload of this offense?
We lost. I think that's. Oh God.
Did I go again?
Yes, you did.
Okay, we'll have you back. Restart.
Somebody's on the Wi-Fi.
I love the fact that somebody's going to be fired. You're the one that runs the show here. Fire yourself.
And this is the first time, 40 episodes, I've never had a technical issue before like this.
Oh, that's a lie. Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
The only technical issue is when I forget to press the open. That's it. That's the only time. And the one time Riverside was down while I was trying to export the clip. The only two times I've had technical issues.
No. There have been other times where you've cut out when we've lost you.
Go back and find them. Go back and find them.
I will gladly find them.
Awesome. While you're at it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and share all the podcast full episodes.
Press the little bell notifications.
Is it fair to put all of this offensive pressure on Roman Anthony in year 2? I don't think it's fair.
I don't think it's fair either because I think another aspect you have to also
Who's the
fill in.
guy? Who's the guy that I like? I don't know
Jaren
his name.
Duran.
Yeah, him. What about him?
Yeah, I think he sucks.
Everyone was expecting him to be traded.
I was really hoping he was going to get traded, but he never got traded, and it kind of pissed me off.
Another aspect, another issue with the Red Sox is who's going to fill in the leadership role for Bregman now that he's gone? Who's going to take that? A lot of people might expect Roman Anthony to take that role, but now, okay, you want Roman Anthony to take up a leadership role from Bregman, who's now absent. You also want him to be your power back. That's a lot of pressure. And so, how high are your expectations for Roman Anthony, and are they too high for him? Which I think a lot of people are giving him way too high of expectations. Not saying that Roman Anthony's not going to be this astounding player that could be the future of the Red Sox, but I do think with where he's at, how young he is, and how little of experience he's got, I think you may be putting on a little bit too much pressure on him that no matter what happens, he might ultimately disappoint you come this season.
And I think a lot of it is also something he can't control because we just saw, and I don't want to cross over sports here too much, but we just saw Drake May in year 2 help bring the Patriots to the Super Bowl and was was number 2 in MVP, lost the MVP by 1 vote. Now we're expecting the same thing from Roman Anthony, where it's okay, year 2 breakout year, carry the Sox to the World Series, and
I don't.
It's something he controlled. That like Boston fans are putting that pressure onto him, and it's also he can't control that in the offseason they didn't add a power bat. They lose their leader in Alex Bregman in the clubhouse, and like it's kind of just like, okay, we need this from you. Like we need to put all this onto you.
I like how you mentioned the pressure coming from the Boston fans, because I don't hate you for crossing sports in this scenario, because what we saw from Drake May was Drake May exceeded expectations, went above and beyond, went to the Super Bowl. Once he lost the Super Bowl, people turned on him. They jumped ship, and they were bashing him for not finishing the Super Bowl, despite him being in his second year and completely exceeding expectations. And so if, Roman Anthony, with the situation he's in, the same thing could very well happen with him with Boston sports fans, where if he doesn't live up to these tremendous expectations of winning it all, going to the World Series, then you could very well see, again, casual fans, you may see them completely turn on Roman Anthony and be like, he's not the guy, he didn't do the job, when in reality, you're putting so much pressure on a year 2 guy. You can't, I don't want to say you can't do that, but it's like, what do you expect? What are you expecting from the guy?
And you already see fans turning on Marcelo Meyer, and the year hasn't even started yet. And I think that has a little bit more validation and weight behind it, because he's having a very odd spring camp where you don't really know what's going on with him. Like, where is he going to play? Yeah. Where is he going to hit in the order?
And the injury is always...
He's a guy who has a lot more question marks around him than Roman Anthony. Roman Anthony is like as surefire as you can get, pretty much. It's like a future face of your franchise. But Marcelo Meyer never played a full season, is injury prone. Like, you don't really, like, he didn't have the year that Anthony had before Anthony got injured and was out for the season. So I think there's more value there. And that kind of leads me into what I think is the biggest concern with the Red Sox is going to be the infield. Like, the infield defense. And not even defense, just infield as a whole. Like, your infield is so, I want to say, like, backup parts, I feel. Like, you get Wilson Contreras because you can't get Pete Alonso, and then you go and get Caleb Durbin, who is extremely short, apparently, like 5'6" and a quarter, and he's playing third baseman. And I guess, if you can jump up and grab those balls, like, awesome. I don't really care how tall the guy is. And then you have Trevor Story at shortstop, and Trevor Story had a career year last year, one of the best year he's ever had as a Red Sox. Can he do that again? And I think he's going to have a drop off and a half. Like, I think he's going to be injury prone as all hell. I think that's going to be like the one year he was actually healthy as a Red Sox, and it's going to come back to bite them because they don't have a shortstop. And then Meyer is supposedly playing second, but you're hearing reports that it might be this other guy, Mikey Ramiro, I want to say is his name, or something like that, where it's like, okay, Meyer might not even be your everyday second baseman. It might be a platoon yet again at second base. So it's like, if your strategy going into the offseason was, get a power bat, do this and that, and then it pivots to ultimately what their plan ended up being was, let's just beef up the rotation. Let's have the best starting pitching rotation we could possibly have. And you have a really good starting rotation. Crochet, Suarez, the other guy whose name's blanking for me, then Brian Bayo. Like, you have a good starting rotation. What's the point of that if you can't turn a double play because your second baseman's a bum? Like, what is the point of having this really good pitching rotation if your infield defense sucks? Crochet, Ranger Suarez, who's the third guy? I can't think of the third guy.
I thought you were missing Ranger Suarez.
No, it's not Ranger Suarez. It's some third guy I can't think of.
That kind of
Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray.
So like,
I knew it was not.
If your plan was to, because you have Alex Cora said you have the best outfield in the league, and you do have 4 really good outfielders, and Cedar Rafael, Roman Anthony, Willie Abreu, and Jaron Duran. Some guys left out of that, so now you have 4 good outfielders, but I can only play 3. So where does Duran slide in? Because he's the odd man out in the outfield. Where does Duran go? Does he go and play third? Does he play second? Does he DH? If you're paying Duran a DH, what are we doing? Like, I just don't see him as an everyday, like, he shouldn't be your everyday DH. His benefit would be in the field because he's super, super fast. I just have questions about the infield defense. I'm worried about the infield defense.
If that's the concern of the infield defense being a problem, how much do you think the pitching can carry the team? When it comes to, how far can the pitching take this team? Because the pitching, again, can only do so much, but can you rely on pitching to take you to the playoffs? I don't know.
Yeah, and you saw the team that had the best ERA in the league last year, and I said this last week, the Texas Rangers. They were a 500 ball club, and you're having an offense that might rival how bad the Pittsburgh Pirates were last year. So you combine those 2 things with a high ERA, but you're scoring 1 run a game. And that's, not actually what the Pirates averaged or whatever. I don't know what the hell they average, but just hypothetically. That's just not a winning, that's not a back in the playoffs. You made the wild card. Wild card should be the bottom minimum expectation for the season. ALDS, ALCS, the world's, that's the expectations going forward. You need to improve upon last year. So I'm very worried about the Red Sox. Josh, there's very clear-cut concerns with this Boston Red Sox team. The power bats like Josh said. The infield defense like I said. I know Sarah's super, super worried about this Red Sox team. She's so worried she can't even speak to it. She's that nervous about the Red Sox. She's wearing her red today. But we are going to move off of the Red Sox.
Because the Fenway Frank price is going to go up again.
The Fenway Frank prices are absolutely going to go up. I can promise you that.
I don't think I've had a Fenway Frank since I was 4.
They're so good.
That, a hot dog is the stadium. It's the stadium icon. It's this icon for stadium food, and it's you're struggling to get one. That is outrageous to me.
Isn't a hot dog also the scraps of a pig?
I don't know what the hell it is.
If I'm at a baseball,
it's delicious, is what it is.
Yeah, because
it tastes
fake.
great at Fenway.
I was going to say,
actually, I do remember Fenway having really good hot dogs.
If I'm at Fenway Park watching the Red Sox, I'm a couple deep, and I have a Fenway Frank, I do not care what that Fenway Frank is made of. It's going straight down my gullet.
It's going down the gullet.
Straight to the stomach.
There's some worries going into the season with the Sox, but let's pivot off of that because it's time for the big debate. And the big debate, new segment we're doing, just someone brings something new to the table every single week, and we go back and forth on what we think the right answer is.
I just thought of a good one.
Write it down. You know what? I'm glad you said that because you know what's great about that, Sarah? We have a show doc, and anybody can write in that show doc and put any thoughts they want on there. It doesn't just have to be me.
If I'm gonna be so honest with you, I haven't looked at that since last April.
I've been looking.
You know what's really sad is
I've been looking at it. I haven't been adding my own thoughts
to give you
I've been looking at it.
Put some Twitter links in there to help you out with the basketball and the baseball conversation, and I put them on there. I go, I know she's not going to look at this, but at least I'm trying out here to help you stay well informed, so you can contribute the best you can.
I just come in and wing it.
Sarah, that should be your own homework, is to read one Celtics or Red Sox article per week.
I don't even read Patriots articles.
I can hook you up with. I
know
a guy who writes
an article about a team I literally don't.
I don't know. You teach your kids how to read.
Yeah, you can have them read the articles to you.
Yeah,
I teach them what colors are in the rainbow, and that's about it.
Red is in the rainbow. Red is a Red Sox. What do we think about the Red Sox, little Timmy?
I teach them about the Patriots, and as soon as they understand the Patriots and they can recite the entire offensive line, then I will worry about the other teams.
All right, recite the whole offensive line right now. Go.
I can't do that.
Campbell, Wilson, Bradbury, Moses, Owenu. I'm pretty sure that's the
If I really thought about it, I probably could. I don't have the brain power right now. I've had a really long day.
Just saving the brain power for the big debate.
I got contacts today, and that was the most stressful hour of my life.
All right. Well, luckily for you, we're not debating contacts or glasses right now. Last week we did Winter versus Summer Olympics. This week, Josh's turn. Sarah, next week is all you. It's all your idea next week. So we're going to have to do a little homework. So Josh, it's all you.
Before I say the question, Sarah, how about right now, you go into the doc, write down what the question is so that you don't forget it.
Oh, I already forgot it.
Oh my God. Record timing. How do we forget?
We'll come back to it at some point in time.
I'm like a goldfish.
Oh God.
All right, Josh, what are we debating this week?
We're debating coaches this week. We are debating who is the better coach between the two best coaches in Boston. Who's better, Mike Vrabel or Joe Mazzulla? And I can go first if you would like to, unless someone here is very eager to go first.
You can go first.
I think everyone and their mother knows what I'm gonna say.
Then go ahead, Sarah.
Mike Vrabel.
Okay.
I have no evidence as to why. I'm just saying Mike Vrabel's the better coach. Actually, no, I do have evidence to why.
Maybe because he won Coach of the Year and went to the Super Bowl.
No, that has nothing to do with it.
And he went 4-13.
That is literally just the cherry on top. He's the best coach in Boston, in the world, actually. I'm going to say the world, because after every single game, win or lose, he's in that tunnel, handshaking, high-fiving, patting his guys on the back, no matter what. Every single man on that roster gets one-on-one, face-to-face contact with their coach. Tell me what other coach in the world does that.
I bet there's some coach out there. It's probably just not documented.
Shut up.
Okay.
I'm sure Joe Mazzulla talks to all 15 guys on the roster after every game.
Okay, yeah, 15 compared to 53.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm very aware of what I said that. But you didn't bring up numbers. You didn't bring up numbers. You just doing that. So numbers would lie. Josh, I'm assuming you're on Joe Mazzulla.
There is Josh.
I'm assuming Josh going Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah. I am gladly.
Is he gonna strip? I'm really worried he's gonna strip.
I don't know what he's doing.
He's gonna have Joe Mazzulla boxers on, and I'm gonna be very afraid.
Very upset right now.
Okay.
Oh.
Big reveal to change the hat. Okay.
God.
I'm very upset with someone in this podcast, and I'm expecting an apology from said man that I am looking at my camera right now.
Hey, I was hand up accountability. I did not think Joe Mazzulla had this in him. Joe
Mazzulla is the better coach than Mike Vrabel. He is much better, not much better, but he is a better coach than Joe Mazzulla. Tom, would you like to say your answer before I go on a rant?
So here's I really am torn here, and this is why I'm glad.
How?
Because you have Mike Vrabel, and I'll lay out the arguments perfectly for you.
Because we'll take our sides. Go right ahead.
Because Vrabel, he came into a team that was a dumpster fire. 4-13 brings them all over to the Super Bowl. He completely rebuilt the organization when it comes to a culture, integrity, things like that. He brings in a defensive coordinator. The defense becomes one of the best defenses in the league after being one of the worst defenses in the league. He helped our quarterback grow from struggling first-year quarterback to a possibly literally one vote shy of an MVP candidate. So I think from that set alone, the way he was able to build the culture, turn the franchise around so quickly in 1 year, and nobody expected the Patriots to be in the really that far in the playoffs, let alone in the Super Bowl, is spectacular. And I think there's a lot of credit there. And the way he connects with players is very, I don't want to say it's special the way he's able to do it, and it's almost one of a kind. It's very rare the way he's able to connect with the players the way he is. But then on the other hand, you have Joe Mazzulla, who's never missed the playoffs in his career. This season he's won a world championship, which is something Mike Vrabel hasn't done. But he's also defied expectations this season. People did not have the Celtics being where they were as a top two team in the Eastern Conference. People didn't believe they were real championship contenders this year because Jason Tatum went down. I myself said at some point in time, Mazzulla might be a Tatum merchant. And he's proved all the doubters wrong this year. And he has, with I don't want to say a lackluster roster, but he has really developed a defensive integrity with this team that is giving everybody troubles out there. They're the best defensive team in the league right now. And I think that goes to speak to how good of a coach Joe Mazzulla is. When I really thought at the start of the season, when they were struggling, he is going to get exposed without Tatum. So that's why I'm torn here. There's really two good arguments for both of these coaches.
But here's the thing, Tom. This is the great debate. Got to take one side.
That's why it's called the big debate. And you got to pick a side.
There's two sides of the coin. And you can only pick
one.
And I think because of that, I have to lean Mike Vrabel because...
Thank you.
As much as I do love Joe, and he has proven me wrong this year, when he became the Celtics head coach, he inherited a great roster. And he's always had a great roster. And I think he's overperforming this year expectations 1,000%. Mike Vrabel overperformed expectations 1,000% this year, but I don't think his roster was that good. I think we're gonna start looking back and be like, this roster was not that good.
I think that if we're speaking roster-wise, I think, sure, you can definitely say Joe Mazzulla inherited the roster, a much better roster, sure. But look at this year alone. That last year you had, your outstanding roster with White, Brown, Tatum, Porzingis, Horford, all those guys, Holiday. You ended up having to scrap majority of that team, and you even lose Tatum. And so, what? The only 4 guys returning were Peyton Pritchard, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Sam Hauser. And the fact, I think the Celtics' expectations were much lower than the Patriots. People were expecting the Patriots to make borderline playoffs. People were expecting the Celtics to tank.
The Patriots were expected to win.
No one expected the Patriots to do anything.
The Patriots were 8.5.
Yeah, because I'm a fan.
The season was 8.5.
I'm loyal.
People
That's
on the
my
Patriots
team.
won like 8 games this year. 8-9 games is where they were expected to be.
And people were,
that's not playoff contention.
It's borderline playoff.
They would have been
but you're not getting there.
But I still think that the Celtics' expectations were lower. That people were literally expecting the team to tank. People were expecting them to tank. People were expecting the Patriots to tank. And so
yes,
they were just expecting them to be bad.
You lost majority of your roster, and now you have guys
we
that
cleaned house and then went to the Super Bowl with a new coach.
He did make a lot. Vrabel did clean house. I mean, Duggar, Keon White.
Not a single player except maybe Hunter Henry had been on that team.
No, okay, you're going a little too far there, Sarah. Like, he did get rid of a lot of veterans. I mean, there was way more than just Hunter Henry on that team that was carried over from those two. Drake May, Hunter Henry, Stevenson, Owenu, Morgan Moses.
I'm talking Belichick.
Okay, but I think you're going too far back then. That's too long of a time period.
Not really. It's 2 years.
That's a very long time in the NFL.
But yeah, Mike Vrabel did clean house and go get veterans, and that obviously assisted with helping the team move. But Joe Mazzulla was left with the 4 guys and a bunch of other like rookies, random free agents, and he elevated all of those guys to be someone. My counter argument with Vrabel is that I think Drake May also had a huge impact in elevating a lot of those guys, especially the receivers and the running backs, into how the offensive game changed. The offensive game changed not only because of Vrabel, but because of also Drake May. I don't think Jaylen Brown has really elevated the rest of the team. I think Jaylen Brown has really been focused on Jaylen Brown himself, trying to prove the haters wrong, that the elevation of the rest of the team, like Shireman, Garza, Keita, all those guys, I think that comes from Joe Mazzulla elevating those guys to be better. He was, experimenting so many times throughout the beginning of the season of who belongs where, who's going to get these minutes. There were so many guys going in and out. Tillman, even. He was subbing out Tillman every now and then to try and figure out who works well on this team. And he eventually found that identity and completely elevated this team that was supposed to tank into a championship contending team after you scrapped a majority of your roster last year. You went down with your best player. And I don't even think your best player now is the one elevating the team. I think it's you elevating the team. So I think Joe Mazzulla has way much more of a bigger impact on the Boston Celtics than Mike Vrabel does on the Patriots. Not saying Mike Vrabel isn't a good coach. He's a fantastic coach. I think Joe Mazzulla has just had a much bigger impact on the Celtics' success than Mike Vrabel has on the Patriots' success.
And I'll agree with you that I think, like, Drake May did help elevate that roster. Like, it wasn't that good of a roster. But I think when it came into, like, any coaching situation, like, he was nails. Like, when it came down to situation of football, he was nails. Like, when it came to the game planning, he was nails in a lot of those games, like the pregame stuff.
I think that the only reason Drake May stepped up the way he did is because he was taking after Mike Vrabel.
Well, if you're going to go into coaching...
He was heavily influenced by Mike Vrabel, and that's actually been proved.
More of his... Well, then it becomes down to... If you're going to say Drake May was coaching, I think you give more of the coaching to Drake May too.
I'm not saying that he was coaching.
No, but if you're going to give, like, okay, the way he improved is because, like, the way he made the leap was because of coaching, I think you have to give the coaching a lot to Josh McDaniels and the quarterback coach. It's not Todd McShay. That's the wide receiver coach. I'll look it up. It's not Todd McShay's the wide receiver coach,
I think Drake May also took after Stephon Diggs in, like, a leadership role. But if you want to argue the rookie roster and everything like that, you could make that argument for Vrabel too.
Fair.
Henderson, not David, Craig Woodson, Will Campbell,
Chisholm.
Chisholm didn't really. I mean, Chisholm, Williams, like did
Got
they
a
really?
touchdown.
Jalen Pope got a touchdown last year.
My point being is that they both had young teams.
Yeah,
Argumentably,
they both have really helped young talent
team.
grow. Young talent grow.
I just think that coaching-wise, I think Mike Vrabel is better.
And then I think it also comes down to what's more important in like the NFL. Like, where is coaching more important, the NBA or the NFL?
NFL.
I would lean the NFL as well. I mean, LeBron James was winning games in Cleveland, like despite Ty Lue in 2018. Like despite his coaching,
it's easier to get points. It's easier to get points in basketball than it is.
Yeah, it's easier to get points, and I mean, I think there's more.
But then again, it is two completely different games.
Yeah, so it's tough to compare. You're comparing apples
can't
to
really
oranges
compare.
Here.
Yeah.
I just think ultimately because of the
hamburgers.
I think because of the situation Vrabel inherited, you got to give the nod to Vrabel as the best coach in Boston. And he goes all the way to he goes to the Super Bowl, he loses. Maybe you want to bring up the cookie cutter schedule. At the end of the day, a win's a win. If Joe were to go to the finals this year, I think I would lean Joe. I think that's really what it comes down to is we're in the middle of the season.
That was my last point too, is that I feel like if people, obviously were to jump the gun on Vrabel easily, they could easily bring up, oh, well, Mike Vrabel made the Super Bowl. Mind you, the Celtics season isn't even over yet. We're just over halfway through. So what if Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics end up making the finals? Okay, well, now we have a different argument where they both made the finals. Your Super Bowl argument is no longer invalid. I think the Celtics would have a better argument going to the finals than Vrabel would going to the Super Bowl, because if you want me to play devil's advocate with the whole cookie-cutter schedule, you could statistically then say, well, Mike Vrabel made the Super Bowl because of that easy schedule. Whereas in the NBA, you play every single team at least twice. You play every single person twice, and you still made the NBA Finals. So if Joe Mazzulla makes it to the finals, you can no longer use that Super Bowl argument against Joe Mazzulla. Joe Mazzulla now has that over you. And so if the Celtics were to go to the NBA Finals, I genuinely think it's a much clearer choice that Joe Mazzulla is a better coach than Vrabel.
And, that's why it's called the big debate, because you could get me to sway either way here. Again, ultimately, Vrabel wins 2-1, Josh. That's a great thing why we have an odd number. So last week, the Summer Olympics won. This week, Mike Vrabel wins.
Oh, Summer Olympics won?
Winter Olympics won.
Yeah,
last week. Vrabel wins this week, and this might be one we bring back in 6 months before the NFL season starts.
I would gladly like to bring this up after the NBA season has concluded.
I think it is tough because it is mid-season. You don't know how Joe's going to finish up the year, but he has, again, hand-up accountability. Joe Mazzulla has shocked me this year.
Look in the camera and apologize to him.
Joe Mazzulla has completely shocked me this season. I thought he was a Tatum merchant. I thought he was going to struggle. It took him a while to figure out what worked for this team, but he's figured it out. He's got Hugo Gonzalez, Neemias Cater, and Jordan Walsh all in top 10 of defensive rating in the league this year. So he's really doing outstanding things as a head coach. But that's going to do it for the Duckboat Dispatch, episode number 40. What's up?
I'm going to make that a clip, by the way. I'm going to find the old video of you and I'm going to pair it with this.
All the power to you. All the power to you,
Sarah's going to post it on our Instagram, which you can find at Duckboat Dispatch on Instagram and TikTok.
Yep. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, share it, be a friend, tell a friend at the Duckboat Dispatch. Sharing is caring. We're also, if you want more of an audio version of the podcast, we have Apple and Spotify podcasts. You can find us there at the Duckboat Dispatch. You follow us, you get notified every single time we post. It's usually once a week, depending on the day that works out for all of us. We'll be back next week, 1 week closer to baseball, 1 week closer to the end of the NBA season. And who knows, maybe next week we have Tatum back. So maybe we'll be able to dive into that.
1 week closer to the NFL season, baby.
NFL season's 1 week closer for Sara. The NFL draft's coming up. The combine, I believe, is tomorrow, starts Sara. So maybe we'll have some combine. Maybe we'll have a little bit of college players to look into ahead of the draft, about 2 months away from the draft. But so make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, you follow, so you can stay up to date with all of your Duckboat Dispatch content. And we'll be back next week.